Thanks to the support as a channel member, Felix Bjorkman. Now, I don't want to have to go through name by name every person who asked me to come and manage Wimbledon, but if it continues, I might have to, because I do need somebody to blame. We are about to start our second season at this club we're supposed to win the Champions League with. We have qualified for Europe, equalled the highest league position in the history of the club, narrowly missed out on the Champions League. And our transfer budget is £1.6 million. And you lot wanted this, apparently. But before we get into that, let's have a season review, because the season itself was very good. I'm a very good football manager. So it is, I would argue, the best season in the history of the football club. Signing of the season went down as Yang, as you would expect it to. If we can keep hold of him, he could genuinely be part of a Champions League winning team. We're going to have to add to that, and that's the job for this summer. We were supposed to finish mid-table. We ended up finishing 7th, qualifying for the Conference League. That's only been done by Wimbledon once before in their history. One 7th place finish, one Conference League qualification. There's still a chance we get bumped up to the Europa League as well, because the finals of all of these haven't taken place yet. So we might yet end up in the Europa League, which would be the most prestigious competition this club has ever played in, and that would be jolly nice. The problem, though, comes financially. We are still a 4-star reputation club. We've been back in the Premier League for 10 years now, but only £39 million of sponsorship, not high enough. We do get the Premier League broadcast revenue, but obviously no European broadcast revenue. Corporate and prize money and all that stuff has gone up. We don't sell enough shirts, though. Yang sells more shirts than anybody. The rest of them are all players that we're trying to get rid of. Basinger we're going to keep. The other ones we're probably quite happy to get rid of. And this was our team of the year, and a lot of these are going to be gone. We are doing a full rebuild on a budget. Clements in goal, already agreed to sell him. Hines, we're trying to get rid of. Huza, already agreed to sell him. Mamani might still be here. Owusu might still be here, but will probably be a backup. Gian will be going back to Manchester City. Kawasaki, we're trying to sell. Basinger will keep. Jimmo, we have effectively already replaced. Thiago Enrique won't be a starter. And Kasongo, we are open to offers for, even though he did end up as the Premier League's top goal scorer, as is confirmed there. Premier League top goal scorer. He also won the Conference League Golden Boot the year before as well. Fans Player of the Year went to Kawasaki. Going to try and sell him. Basinger was Young Player of the Year. We'll try and keep him. And then that's where the rest of the awards went. All of which leads us, we don't care about the all-time best 11. They're all going to be new gens we don't remember because it was for so long ago. The board are looking for us to finish mid-table and reach the latter stages of the Conference League. We obviously are going to be looking for Champions League qualification this season. We're not going to tell the players that. That will get them all worked up, and we don't want them to get all worked up. So, yeah, we'll say mid-table. We'll keep them calm. We don't want to get them all worked up just yet. Training camp, we are going to go to... Well, the only one of those countries I've managed in before is the USA. So we're going to go there, and we have got some coaching advice. So we'll just tickle all of that stuff. But this is the financial situation. We're £65 million in the red. And that's not the button I was aiming for. Projection is horrific. The stadium is not big enough, and we need regular European football. We probably also need to do a bit of a remortgage and sort that out so we can have something going on here. Because at the moment, we've got £1.5 million worth of transfer budget, only a 25% retained transfer revenue. So if we sell £100 million of a player, I still only have £25 million to spend. We do have a little bit of spare wage budget. Once all of the players due to leave, there is some money for us to play with there. We had a look at it at the end of the last episode. There is some potential wiggle room. So we are going to be able to do some business, but we do have to be wary of this. We do have to be wary of this. I mean, we're probably all right for this. So I don't think we need to be too worried. And obviously we have pre-arranged a bunch of transfers both in and out. I'll introduce them to you properly when they arrive, but we've got 3 defenders, 3 midfielders and a striker. Some familiar faces in there as well. And a few players already arranged to leave. There will be more on their way out of the club as well. So I guess the first thing is to let the new boys arrive. They're all due in on the 9th of June. Once they're in, let's have a look at the state of the squad. In the meantime, try and sell a few more of the players we want rid of. There are a lot of them that are out of contract, so a lot of these we're just going to let leave. And then there's a few others that we're going to try and push out. And hopefully get to early, middle June, the new players are all in and we can work out what we need, add the finishing touches and try and assemble a squad capable of getting Wimbledon into the Champions League. And we were close last season. We ended up finishing 2 points behind Manchester City, and there were points on that final day when we were up in 4th place. It just didn't necessarily go our way. So that's the plan. Now let's go and do the plan. Well, here we go then. It is transfer going through day, I think they officially call it. I snuck in another one as well. Another little wonder kid. Love me a wonder kid. It's going to involve us having to change the way we play as well. But these are the new boys. Ramiro Herrera, very familiar to all of us, but he's everything I want from a striker. He's 6 foot tall, very physical, great finisher, fantastic goal record. Yes, we've got concerns about whether or not he's going to stay fit, but if he does, we know he's good. So I think for £8 million, we could take a little bit of a risk and throw him in as an attacking option for us. We've also got Carlos Salcedo, who's a 23-year-old Mexican international defensive midfielder, 3.5 stars of current ability. He comes in from Pachuca for £8.25 million. Ramiro Jaramillo is an 18-year-old Argentinian left-back / centre-back, 6 foot tall, another big physical chap, £6.5 million. Not necessarily going to play him straight away, but he definitely fills out the squad in positions we need to fill the squad out in. Lorenzo Mertens is the extra one we snuck in. He was wanted by Real Madrid and we got in first. A 19-year-old Belgian under-21 international, can play attacking midfield or right wing, plus back in midfield or up front. Where obviously we're not going to play him on the right because that's where Yang plays. We're probably not going to play him as a striker because we only play with one and we've got loads. So either we're going to sacrifice Basinger, or what is my hair doing there? Or retrain Basinger to be a defensive midfielder and switch to a 4-2-3-1. Or we potentially push Mertens back into central midfield and play him alongside Basinger. Either way, £24.5 million, a goal-scoring midfielder who's already got over 100 games under his belt and over 50 goals and assists before he's even 20. We did have to pay £24.5 million up front because it was a release clause, but very happy to get him. We've then got Alexandra, who's a 21-year-old Brazilian, again, left-back, centre-back, my kind of profile of full-back, big, strong, physical full-back, £5 million for him as a backup option. Alain Coste is another Belgian. He can play as a striker or a right winger. He's 18 years old, so will become homegrown at the club. 3 stars of current ability, 5 stars of potential. I have no idea where we fit him in for now, but he scored 14 goals for Anderlecht last year, so at still 18 years old, he's obviously got bags of potential as well. And then we've also got Enrique, who is yet another centre-back / left-back. Can you see where our defence was weak? He's only 19, 6'2", same profile as the others. And he comes in for £22.5 million from Villarreal. We'll give everybody a little pat on the head, welcome them all in. Goodness me, it's going to take forever to welcome them all in. We've also got some players who are leaving the club as well. You can see them further up in the inbox. So we'll say goodbye to them in a second as well, and then have a look at the squad. And one thing I know the squad needs, and we are going to have to find a way to finance, is a goalkeeper. Because at the moment, we don't really have one. We've got 2 that I'd be quite happy to have as backup, but nobody capable of being a starter. So Caicedo went to Reading for £48.5 million, which is jolly nice. And all of those transfers going in and out leave our budget, will leave our balance at 44 million in the red. We are overspending, so we can whack that down there, which still doesn't solve the problem. We're also failing FFP currently. We haven't started selling yet and contracts haven't expired yet. Right, I think we bin that off and go to that to fit our new boy in. And that means in goal, we definitely need one. But at left back, we've got plenty of cover there now. In fact, hold on. Some of these gone into the reserves. Get them up into the first team squad. Everyone's here to play. So left back, we've got plenty of options. Right back, we've got plenty of options. Centre back, we now have plenty of options as well. We're looking to move Hines on and go with the younger players, Cruz and Enrique maybe as a starting partnership. They'll get good together. It'll be fine. In midfield, defensive midfield is a problem. We want rid of Rosali. Salcedo's just come in. Brizuela is going to be joining us permanently, but he's rubbish. But we don't really have anyone else who can play there. So we are still going to need to strengthen there or adjust positions. Basinger's going to have to drop back. Kawasaki might have to drop back. Or we just play Mertens deeper, which he can do. Maybe it's easier to train Mertens to play a little bit deeper knowing that we can also use him in other positions. Maybe this is the more sensible of the two, because then Salcedo can start there, and then we've got Kawasaki, Basinger, Fernandez, Mertens. We probably still have to stick with this, don't we? On the right-hand side, we've got loads of talent. Yang. And we've got 3 wonder kids out there, or an elite player and 2 wonder kids. Yang will be the starter, but Mertens can play out there. Cost can play out there. Herrera can play out there. This is why Rezali doesn't need to be here anymore. So if anyone wants to take him, there you go, 16 million for him. We're absolutely mugging Spurs there. We will take that for sure. Let's get him, do everything we need to do to get him to agree to get out of the door. And I'm also looking at Thiago Henrique, thinking, I mean, if we could get anywhere near that, he's just not going to get 39 million. Yeah, come on then. We'll take 39 million for him. Again, let's persuade him to get gone. We don't want him here either, because up front we've got Mertens, Herrera, Kasongo, Cost, Kawasaki. Henrique's so far behind. And Kawasaki's another one that I'd probably be inclined to get rid of. We probably need another left winger, and we've only got Jimmo and Herrera as options out there. So there is still plenty that we need to strengthen. If we're playing a 4-3-3, I guess we keep Kawasaki. He was someone I was looking to get rid of. But I guess we look to bin him off. And Hines is someone we want rid of as well. There you go, 4.5 million for him. We definitely take, he's on a lot of money. He's getting paid £140,000 a week as what is now effectively a backup. So we want him gone. If anyone wants to give us that kind of money for Mamani, I mean, I'm not desperate to get rid of him, but at the same time, no. I would have taken 40 million just to bring the money in, but we don't need to force him out the door. Same situation with Owusu. Menacho is going to be my starter. So Owusu at 31, if anyone wants 22 million for him, yeah, we definitely take that. We're doing a full rebuild, boys and girls. I promised you a full rebuild. We're doing a full rebuild, and we've obviously got other youngsters who can come in and play there as well. So if we can get rid of all them, it starts to make all of this look a little bit healthier. And then we can go for round 2, which round 2 is a goalkeeper, probably another holding midfielder, a left winger. And then if we could get like a Premier League quality centre-back just to complement the youngsters that we've got, that might be handy too. What's this? I mean, I don't want him here. That's why he's on the transfer list. Sometimes these things are quite self-explanatory. I do think this is the best course of action. I am going to insist. This was the goalkeeper we tried to sign, but they want 40 million for him. He is good, though. We'll scout him a bit more. We might go and spend 40 million on a goalkeeper. We can stick most of it on the Never Never. It'll be fine. Well, we've made it through to the 1st of July. I'll have a quick look to see if there's any free transfers. I don't anticipate there being a lot, but we have done some more business. So Thiago Henrique did go for £39 million to Freiburg. Huza's transfer to Atletico for 35 million has gone through. And we brought in 3 more players, although one of them... It was desperation last summer, but we have a couple more wonder kids. Igor Tolmachev is a 19-year-old Ukrainian international who plugs 2 of the gaps in the squad. He's a natural defensive midfielder and left winger, so that's ideal. 3 stars of current ability, 4 stars of potential, so not a huge amount of potential, but could be a nice long-term squad player, and he's a wonder kid, so that could be judged wrong anyway. And then we've got Massimo Girelli, another Belgian, 19-year-old. This one, natural on the left wing and central midfield. So I think we are committing at this point to the 4-3-3s. We've got some decent depth in those positions. He joins from Genk for £17 million. We also... Did anything go through at the end of the official last season? Yeah, Owusu went to West Ham for 20 million. Rezali to Tottenham for 16 million. We already knew about Caicedo. We already knew about all those players coming in. But we have also released a bunch of the useless players that we didn't want. I don't know why some of them class as... I guess if they have a club, they class as a free transfer. If they don't have a club, they class as released. But the squad is now looking much trimmer than it was before. It's starting to look like a sensible squad now. 23-player squad. Nobody in the youth system ready to step up, but the finance is looking a lot healthier as well. 23 million in the bank. We're now passing FFP on both ends of it. We've still got £8 million of transfer budget left. We've got spare wage budget left as well. And there is definitely still work to do. This is what the squad looks like. So we definitely need a goalkeeper. I don't know. I think we might keep Hines for another year. No one wants to give me good money for him. And I think we might benefit from his experience. And presumably he's homegrown at club as well. He's not brilliant. We don't have any homegrown at club players. Europe's going to be fun. But we've got Hines and Mamani, who I think are probably sticking around, and then Dante Cruz and all the other youngsters knocking about the place. But it has just occurred to me, there's that stupid Premier League rule about young players being signed, isn't there, which we might be about to hit into. I don't remember where you check if you've got any of those left. We'll worry about that. Future Kev's problem. Left back Medina is probably leaving. We've accepted an offer from Al Hilal for him, so Hines might end up our starting left back. We've also got all the youngsters that came in. We could probably do the Premier League quality left back, but we do have a lot of youngsters, so it's not top priority. Manacho will be fine as the starting right back. Mamani, if he doesn't play centre back, can cover, as can some of the youngsters. Salcedo will definitely be our starting defensive midfielder. Tolmachev and Brizela can then back him up, and in central midfield we've got Kawasaki, who, I mean, if we get a big offer we might still sell because he's 30 and not really my kind of player. So I mean, no, I'm not offering him out, but I would have been interested. Again, with Fernandez, I just feel like he's a player who's falling down the pecking order a bit, and if we can get big money we could maybe reuse it, but at the same time he could be useful to have around. We're training Mertens to play central midfield as well. And obviously we know on the right we're good. On the left we are now also good. And we have plenty of options up front. And if anyone wants to sign Kasongo, who's after him? Al Nasser. Is he homegrown at club? See, he's homegrown at club, which does mean we're probably better off keeping him. He was the Premier League's top scorer last year, even though he's not my kind of striker. But we definitely need a goalkeeper as job one. And then if we could find like a 6'6" guy who's natural at centre-back and defensive midfield, that could be a perfect little way to finish off the squad, I think. Well, there's been more ins and outs, and I think we're probably done, not because I necessarily think the squad is now good enough, but because I think we've just run out of money. I've squeezed every last bit of wheeler dealing out of what I had available to me. Medina went to Al Hilal for 29.5 million. Brizuela, we've actually loaned out to Boca Juniors. And they've agreed a future fee with him, so he will never play again for Wimbledon as a permanent player, which is probably for the best. We've also loaned this guy out to Swansea. Look at the potential he's got. He's a future left winger for us. Not that stopped me signing several left wingers this summer. But I think you'd got as far as Brizuela coming in. So these five are all new. Matteo Coppens is a 23-year-old, another Belgian. There's value in Belgium in 2043, boys and girls. 23-year-old Belgian international who can play defensive midfield and centre-back, only 6 foot tall. So he didn't have every piece of criteria that I was looking for. But he does provide us some cover in both of those positions that needed cover. He joins from Ajax for £37 million. Obviously, there's been a lot of instalments used this summer. And Diego Arturo Escueda is a 25-year-old Mexican international. 9 caps, 5 goals for Mexico. He's a left winger, 4 stars of current ability. Arguably one of the best players at the club now, joins from Chivas, one of my former clubs, not in this save, but in another life. We have a goalkeeper, Cesar Palacios, 28-year-old Peruvian international on loan for the season from Blackburn. We do have an optional future fee of £16 million for him. I don't anticipate paying for him. Blackburn have actually gone into administration as well. So Blackburn are ripe for the picking of players. They didn't really have anybody. Gerard Conde is a 30-year-old Spanish left-back who's in on loan for the season. He also has an optional future fee at £6 million. He's in from Lille, who spent £23 million on him just a couple of years ago. And then we've also got Jose Pablo Rincon, who's a 24-year-old Mexican right-back who's just really in as a depth option. We only really had Manacho as a right-footed right-back who's not going to be playing centre-back like Mamani will be. So we needed another one. He is another one. He was cheap, £4 million. It means the squad is now looking almost there. If I had unlimited money, I still want more defenders. I don't think we have good enough centre-backs. We need some of these high potential youngsters to get good quick. I mean, I guess it is the ideal circumstances for someone like Enrique to come into the club, who ordinarily would come in, spend 3 years as a fringe player, maybe go out and loan a couple of times. But he's there at 19 years old with 5 stars of potential, and he's probably going to start every game. So if he's going to get good and if he's going to hit that 5-star potential, this is the atmosphere for him to do it in. So fingers crossed, we do get a couple of stars emerge out of the wide splattering of good young players that we brought in. But we have decent options at goalkeeper now. Not a long-term solution, not a Champions League winning solution, but a good enough to get us through this season solution in Palacios. And we are very strong going forward with multiple options in multiple attacking positions. I mean, it's a very different profile of attacker to what we had when I arrived. We've got rid of most of the dross. We've actually given Kasongo a new contract as well as a homegrown at club player. He'll never play 32 games in a season again, so he'll never be top scorer again, but we need homegrown at club players, and he's one of those. But I'm pretty happy with the squad. Money-wise, there's still money in the bank. We do need to just throw our last bit of transfer budget into wage budget, and we're not quite within wage budget. There might be 1 or 2 loans still leave. There's one on the way out there potentially. But it's a 27-man first team squad at the moment. If anyone wants to give us money for Hines, wherever he is, we'd still accept that. Alexandra potentially will be going out on loan because he is, as you can see from the calibre of club that are in for him, he's not Premier League ready yet. As is the case with a few of these players. If anyone wants to give me money for Fernandez, sorry, he's definitely available. In fact, should we take that asking price off him and see if that encourages an offer or two maybe? But he could go, and that could lead to more business. But as it stands at the moment, I think we're done. We do still have a few weeks of window left, so we're not going to end the episode until we know the window is done. At the moment, the media think we're going to finish 11th. I think we're going to finish 4th. I think this is a much better squad than we had last year. And fingers crossed, there's still time for a bit more business with like 5 or 6 weeks of window left to go. If we can still bring in a defender, we might even get another loan that we can maybe grab on deadline day or near to deadline day. That's the plan. Well, it's deadline day and it's never over. There's much more business that's gone on. But I have now hit the limit of foreign under 21 players, these two. I'm not able to bring in. So with 8 hours to go, I need a bit of a rethink because there has been significant deadline day business. Sylvanus Jimmo, who was our captain, but got grumpy on because we left him out of our Conference League squad. He's just not a starter for us. He's gone out on loan to Angers. German Fernandez, who also got a grumpy on, has gone out on loan to Freiburg. And we've sold Martin Mamani to Bournemouth for £38 million. We also had previously, it feels so long ago now, sold Hines to Brighton for £10.75 million. That was potentially our starting centre-back partnership gone. So we bought a new one, obviously. Babacar Gomes, 27-year-old Senegalese international. He's 6'4", and you can't teach that. Yeah, he's not got much in the way of potential, but he's good enough to start now and scored 2 goals on his debut because he's a big boy. He is in, and we've also signed Gonzalo de los Santos, a 22-year-old Uruguayan international from Arsenal, 6'2", natural at right back, centre back, and can cover at left back. 3.5 stars of current ability, 4 stars of potential. He is our best defender now. We've not played him yet, but he is excellent. The squad is still looking nicely stocked. We've got money to spend though. With 12 hours ago, we were trying to bring in a couple more wonder kids. Turns out we can't unless they're English, and they're not going to be. So I guess now we need to work out what we're going to spend £12,000 on a grown-up on. And I am wondering, do we try and sneak in another centre-back? I mean, similar to what I said like 2 hours ago in my world, I'd like a 6'8" centre-back and defensive midfielder combo. I just don't think he exists. We got half of him. I'll show you him in a second, but that concludes what has been my most active transfer window I've done in a long time. That has taken me about 6 hours of real time. I haven't spent that long on a transfer video for a long time. £273 million spent. Remember, we started the video with a budget of £1.5 million. Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name's Kev. I do things like that. We signed 19 players, sold 23 players. I promise you a rebuild. A rebuild is what we've delivered. The two more players we brought in on deadline day. This is my half of what I wanted. John Woodbury, a 26-year-old American international. We're not going to hold that against him because he's 6'5". You can't teach that. He's a defensive midfielder, can also play central midfield. We're immediately training him to play centre back because I'm trying to turn him into everything I ever wanted. He joined for £6 million from Philadelphia Union. And then the final signing, just as a little bit of a squad filler, Levent Efi, a 26-year-old Turkish international, can play left back or right back, just provide us some more cover in those positions where we were still a little bit light. Probably will be our starting left back, wants to be for £17 million. And the squad is now complete. I mean, there's a few weaknesses. There's a few jobs that still need doing next summer. Like we need a proper goalkeeper. I think our midfield is still a little bit lopsided towards defensive players. I know I've just signed another one, but we need either someone like Mertens to really establish himself as a central midfielder, or we probably need to move on Kawasaki and Basinger and switch to a 4-2-3-1. Either of them are potentials. I'm not sure which one I'm leaning towards. I guess we'll see. I mean, theoretically, either of them could play in the attacking midfield, but Mertens would just take that spot. We do probably have enough defensive midfielders now to do a 4-2-3-1, though, if we decide to switch to it. And even Basinger is now an accomplished defensive midfielder as we continue to force a square peg into a round hole. It's a nice little 25-man squad in the end. They're not all going to be able to be registered for Europe, so there's probably going to be some grumpiness. Dante Cruz, we are going to have to get in, because we left him out of the original squad. We'll squeeze him in there somehow. Money-wise, we've got way more in the bank than we had at the start of the window. We've spent all of our money. We're just about just a little over our wage budget. Yes, we've accumulated some transfer debt. That can be someone else's problem later down the line. It's probably going to be my problem because we're going to take at least another couple of years, I should think, to win anything with this club. We've started the season quite well. We've beaten the teams we're supposed to beat, but the two big clubs we've played, Liverpool and Chelsea, we did lose to both of those. So 4 games in, we're 8th in the league with 2 wins, and we have qualified for the group stage of the Conference League, having knocked out Slavia Prague in the playoff. So, I mean, realistically, we should go on and win this, you would think. Our best 11, according to the game, that's not the thing I'm looking at, is this. I don't know if I argue too strongly. I mean, there's a couple of positions I probably would argue. I'd have Yang in for a start. I'd probably have Herrera in up front. I might have Gomez, the new defender, in. In fact, Dos Santos, who we've just spent all that money on, isn't in there either, or De Los Santos. So, I mean, the point is we've got some decent strength and depth. That bench is very, very, very strong. And I think this is going to be a good team that I think is good enough to go on and qualify for the Champions League this season. We were so close last year. I think this is levels above the team we had last year. Officially, our best player is Yang. Yeah, he doesn't get into the best 11. I love Football Manager, but I thought that said Champions League for a second. I was going to get very excited, but fingers crossed. I was going to do a thumbs up. Fingers crossed we can carry on our pretty decent start to the season. Similar to last year, I'm not going to show you loads and loads of matches because the focus is winning the Champions League and we're not even in it yet. So we'll perhaps check in once before the next transfer window and then do the second half of the season in a couple of episodes as well and do things quite pacey while we're at least getting to the business end of the save. That's the plan anyway. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much to all my beautiful Patreon backers. And thank you very much for watching.